Imagine this. A man walks into a place he built from the ground up, a place he thought he knew inside and out. But today he's not the boss. Today he's just another face in the crowd, hidden, watching, listening. What he hears changes everything. This is the story of a man who thought he had it all figured out until he realized he didn't. This is the story of undercover truth. Elliot Grayson was not your typical CEO. At 42, he had built one of the most successful retail chains in the country, Grayson Goods. From the outside, it looked like a dream come true. But Elliot wasn't the kind of man to sit in a fancy office and let others do the work. He believed in staying connected to the roots of his business. That's why, once a year, he went undercover. No suits, no ties, no special treatment. Just Elliot, the new guy, ready to work. This year, he chose store number 17 in a small town called Brookhaven. It was one of the oldest stores in the chain, and Elliot had a soft spot for it. He walked in on a Monday morning wearing a plain blue shirt and jeans, his dark hair slightly messy, his face unshaven. He introduced himself as Eli, a temporary worker filling in for a few weeks. The store manager, a man named Travis Holloway, greeted him with a firm handshake. Travis was in his late 30s, with a kind face but tired eyes. He showed Elliot around the store, explaining the daily routines. Elliot noticed something right away. Travis cared deeply about the store. He spoke about it like it was his own. But as the days went by, Elliot began to notice something else. The employees were overworked, the shelves were often half empty, and the customers? They were frustrated. Elliot's heart sank. This wasn't the Grayson Goods he had envisioned. One afternoon, Elliot was stocking shelves when he overheard Travis talking to another employee, a young man named Derek. "I don't know how much longer I can keep this up," Travis said, his voice low but filled with emotion. "Corporate keeps cutting our budget. We're short on staff. The shipments are late, and the customers are complaining. But every time I bring it up, they act like it's my fault." Elliot froze. His chest tightened. He had no idea things were this bad. He had trusted his regional managers to handle the stores, but clearly, something had gone wrong. That night, Elliot couldn't sleep. He kept replaying Travis's words in his mind. The next day, he decided to dig deeper. He started asking questions carefully, so no one would suspect who he really was. What he discovered shocked him. The regional manager, a man named Greg, had been cutting corners for months. He had reduced staff, delayed shipments, and even falsified reports to make it look like the store was doing better than it was. Greg had been pocketing the extra money, leaving stores like Brookhaven to struggle. Elliot's hands shook as he wrote down everything he learned. He felt a mix of anger and guilt. How had he let this happen? How had he been so blind? A few days later, Elliot was working the cash register when an elderly man walked in. He looked around the store, his eyes narrowing. "This place used to be the best in town," the man muttered, more to himself than to anyone else. "Now it's just sad." Elliot's heart ached. He wanted to say something, to apologize, but he couldn't. Not yet. Later that day, he overheard Travis again. This time, Travis was on the phone and his voice was trembling. "I'm doing everything I can," Travis said, "but I can't keep lying to the employees. They deserve better. They deserve to know the truth." Elliot's breath caught. Lying? What was Travis talking about? He waited until Travis was alone and approached him. "Hey, Travis," Elliot said, trying to sound casual. "Everything okay? You seem stressed." Travis hesitated, then sighed. "It's just this store. It's falling apart, and I feel like I'm failing everyone. But the truth is, I've been hiding something. Something big." Elliot's stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" Travis looked around to make sure no one was listening, then leaned in closer. "A few months ago, I found out about Greg's corruption. I tried to report it, but no one listened. So I started using my own money to keep the store running. I've been dipping into my savings, paying for supplies out of pocket, just to keep things afloat. But I can't keep doing it. I'm running out of money, and I don't know what to do." Elliot stared at him, stunned. Travis had been sacrificing everything for the store, for his store. The next day, Elliot called an emergency meeting at the store. He revealed his true identity, and the room fell silent. "I came here to see how things were really going," Elliot said, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "And what I found, It broke my heart, but it also inspired me. Because despite everything, you've all kept going. You've kept this store alive, and for that, I am forever grateful. He turned to Travis. You've shown me what true leadership looks like. You've put this store and the people in it above yourself, and I can't thank you enough. Elliot then announced that Greg had been fired and that he would be taking personal responsibility for fixing the issues at store number 17. He promised to invest in the store, hire more staff, and make sure the employees were treated fairly. As the weeks went by, the store began to transform. The shelves were fully stocked, the employees were smiling, and the customers were happy. Elliot visited often, not as the boss, but as a friend. One evening, as he was leaving the store, Travis stopped him. "Thank you," Travis said, his voice thick with emotion, "for listening, for caring, for making things right." Elliot smiled. "No, Travis, thank you. You reminded me why I started this company in the first place. It's not about profits or numbers. It's about people. And as long as I'm in charge, I'll never forget that." Sometimes the truth is hard to hear, but it's only when we face it that we can grow. Elliot Grayson learned that lesson the hard way, but in the end, it made him a better leader, a better person, and a better man. Because the greatest success isn't measured in dollars or cents. It's measured in the lives we touch and the hearts we change. And that, my friends, is a lesson worth remembering. That's the story, friends. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a pleasure sharing it with you all. Don't forget to comment below and let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun to see the global reach of these stories. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button for more amazing stories, tips, and tricks. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. If you'd like to show some extra love, tap the 3 dots near the share button and send a super thanks.